Penguin Random House Audio presents Freedom from Obsessive-Compulsive Disorder, Updated Edition, a personalized recovery program for living with uncertainty by Jonathan Grayson, Ph.D. Read for you by Tom Parks. This program includes a downloadable PDF that contains resources from the book. Every effort has been made to ensure that the information contained in this book is complete and accurate. However, neither the publisher nor the author is engaged in rendering professional advice or services to the individual listener. The ideas, procedures, and suggestions contained in this book are not intended as a substitute for consulting with your physician. All matters regarding your health require medical supervision. Neither the author nor the publisher shall be liable or responsible for any loss or damage allegedly arising from any information or suggestion in this book. While the author has made every effort to provide accurate telephone numbers and internet addresses at the time of publication, neither the author nor the publisher is responsible for errors or for changes that occur after publication. Further, the publisher does not have any control over and does not assume any responsibility for author or third-party websites or their content. To Kathy, Josh, and Jane, precious are our memories, joyous are our future hopes, and as for the present, our here and now, I couldn't ask for more. Acknowledgements. I am where I am today because of the contributions and efforts of many people. As one might expect, I have to start with my mother and father, Hal and Helen Grayson, who gave me the confidence to try anything, the courage to fail, and the humor to appreciate it all. Thanks to Tom Borkovac, my mentor in graduate school, whose wisdom, friendship, and curiosity about everything sharpened my thinking, and whose extreme patience taught me to write, thus making this endeavor possible. To Edna Foa, whose work with OCD is still the cornerstone and core of our treatment. To Gail Frankel, the members of GOAL, and everyone I have worked with, this is for you. I'm sorry there isn't enough space to name all of you. There is no way to measure what I have learned about life from witnessing the courage you have displayed in your quest for freedom. To my peers at my former center, the Anxiety and Agoraphobia Treatment Center, and my current center, the Anxiety and OCD Treatment Center of Philadelphia, Joanne Dabrowski, B.J. Foster, Lori Kasman, Harold Kirby, Leslie Lennox, Kathy Rupertus, David Rausch, Georgia Sloan, Linda Welsh, Lee Fitzgibbons, Karen Landsman, and Tejal Jakadar. You are my second family, providing support and stimulation, never letting me get away with anything. Well, not too much, and in the words of Leslie, making work a fun place. I also have to thank my longtime colleagues and friends, Charles Mansueto and Alec Pollard. It's as if we were there at the beginning, and I can't thank you enough for all of the inspiration, discussion, and unrestrained fun. I also want to thank my agent, Jessica Lichtenstein. She found me and made this book possible. Her optimism and energy were a constant source of support. I can think of few tasks more painful than editing an author's first book. With the patience of a saint, Wendy Hubbard at Tarcher guided me through this ordeal, and my gratitude to her knows no bounds. And most of all, my family. My son, Josh, whose life has filled me with more love than I would have believed possible. Thank you for so cheerfully allowing me to make the vignettes of your trials and tribulations part of my clinical repertoire. To his wife, Jane, for completing his life and ours. I want to thank you in advance for your life stories that will undoubtedly become part of my clinical repertoire. Finally, to my wife, friend, and lifelong partner, Kathy, everything is from you and for you. What a long, strange trip it has been. For more than 40 years, I've shared everything with you, and still you are the endless source of all that I could ever want. A dream come true. Without your patience, sacrifice, support, and help during this endeavor, this book wouldn't be. Introduction. I was standing in an open field, looking back into the forest and brush, watching the others struggle their way out. It was raining. I had purposely taken everyone off trail through trees and undergrowth so densely packed that forward movement was a slow process of stepping over and through bushes and being on guard for branches snapping back from whoever was in front of you. Melanie, the fourth person to emerge into the freedom of the clearing, shouted, "I'm having a great time!" The photographer documenting our trip for People magazine snapped a picture. Seeing Melanie's joy, it was hard to connect this woman with the one I'd met 7 months earlier at my former center, the Anxiety and Agoraphobia Treatment Center in Philadelphia. When I met Melanie at our first session, she was an extreme suicide risk. All medications in her home, even aspirin, had to be locked in a safe. Her parents wouldn't permit her to carry more than $2 at a time, fearing that access to more money would enable her to commit suicide with over-the-counter medications. She was an attractive and articulate 29-year-old with a 15-year history of both obsessive-compulsive disorder, OCD, and body dysmorphic disorder, BDD. Her OCD focused on issues of perfection. When taking notes during class, if there were any cross-outs, stray marks, folds, or creases in her notebook, she would feel compelled to discard the page. Similarly, she wouldn't tolerate any such marks in her textbooks and would cope with such imperfections by not using the text. Though she found school a nightmare of anxiety, Melanie did well in the courses she managed to complete, but many of her attempts to go to school resulted in anxiety and depression severe enough to require psychiatric hospitalization. Melanie also felt as though she was horribly ugly, so repulsive that she believed it was a burden for those around her to tolerate her presence. This is what it feels like to have BDD, a form of OCD in which sufferers can't stand their own appearance. She spent endless hours agonizing over her hair and makeup, trying to get ready to go out, but often wouldn't be able to leave the house. For more than 15 years, she had no memory of ever being free from her anxiety and despair. Yet, here she was on a camping trip. And not just any trip, but one that I've been running almost every year for more than 2 decades as a therapeutic journey for OCD sufferers. Even non-sufferers might find it difficult to spend a weekend sleeping in tents, using latrines without the benefit of running water, and taking torturous hikes through the mud and muck. For the OCD sufferers I treat, especially those with contamination fears, the accomplishment of making it through such an experience is often nothing less than a tremendous breakthrough in their recovery. This camping trip is just one of the approaches I've found to be of use in working with OCD sufferers during the last 25 years. Earlier in my career, as a faculty member in the Department of Psychiatry at Temple University's School of Medicine, I was part of a research team studying the treatment of OCD. Though our research excelled at delineating the mechanics of treatment, our results and findings regarding the behavioral techniques known as exposure and response prevention are still the core of today's treatment for OCD. I felt the need to go beyond the actual treatment process. I wanted to address issues our research was ignoring, such as relapse prevention. So, in 1981, with an OCD sufferer named Gail Frankel, who was then the current president of the Philadelphia affiliate of the Obsessive-Compulsive Foundation, I started the first OCD support group in the country. Called GOAL, Giving Obsessive-Compulsives Another Lifestyle, Our group.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?